Okay, so I'm going to do a little quick test of the Taylormade Stealth, the Stealth Plus actually, the adjustable one. Nice to see the weight track back in this year's model. I really like how the driver looks from address. The red face is probably not going to be everyone's favorite. I think you'd get used to it if it isn't your favorite, or you might just go with the MySim package and do it gray face, blue face, whatever you prefer if the red isn't your cup of tea. But in terms of the shaping of the driver at address, it is definitely one of their better looking clubs. It's very simple. I'm sure by now you guys have heard plenty about the carbon face, but the main idea of it is obviously the carbon face weighs a lot less than a regular titanium face would. So they move that weight low and back in the driver, makes it more stable, helps the launch conditions. So I expect to see something that's a little bit more consistent on mishits. I expect to see this be a lot more stable than the original Sim, which in many ways was a great driver, but I don't think it was all that forgiving. I think it was a little on the volatile side and certainly wasn't one that I hit all that well because I tend to mishit the driver quite a bit. I mix the strike around quite a bit. So I've got it set to about 8.5 degrees on the loft sleeve, so I haven't done much, just dropped that down a bit because I am spinning the driver more than I used to. So for now, pretty standard. In a future video, I'll mess around with all the different weight and hosel settings on the drivers when I go into choosing one, but for now we've got it pretty stock. I'm using a Kylie shaft that I believe you can get with the driver. I've got the 60 gram version here in extra stiff, and we'll see how it does. Nice. Yeah, pretty good. A couple grooves low. Flight was surprisingly good. 14 millimeters low, spinning at 2500 is good. It's a little out the heel. Maybe just me leaving the face open, but good result. Yeah, similar, low strike. Driver's done pretty well there though, 2800. Would not complain about that. Okay, really? Zero. It's just a crap swing. If I can start to get some strikes that aren't low on the face and in the heel, I think I can start to hammer some, but this is doing really well on mishit. It's good golf course numbers, 2500, 12 launch, 174. All right. It's much more solid. A little on the turn side, but still pretty good. Now we're talking. Ooh, that's quick. That is very quick and low spin. It's really well hit. A little high in the face, I think, or it felt that way. Actually, not too high. Yeah, that feels a lot better than older Taylormade drivers high in the face. It's perfect. Wasn't high at all, just basically felt a bit high, but wasn't high. It's a little low in the club. This driver's.
I can like hear the Lola.
Yeah, like so that was a firm center, but dude, this is nuts how good it is.
Still center though?
Center but low in the face. Yeah. 2300 RPMs, 11 launch, 177.5. That's better. Oh, goodness. Goodbye. Behold, the first Taylormade driver I have ever used that I can be confident in. Oh! That's so sick. Again, I know I hit that a bit low in the face, but it's almost like it's the perfect place to hit a fairway with. 10.5 launch, 2200. Ball speed is ridiculous. Like that. Like that's higher in the club. That's gone. So I actually towed it a bit, which is okay, but 12.5 launch and spin just under 2000. It's probably a little foresight boost there, but it's a lot of carry. I mean, that's basically me almost topping it, and it's still good. I hit that so low in the face. Like, look at that miss, how low in the face that was, and it's still a 300-yard drive. I almost topped the thing. That one's good. Ooh, I like everything about that.
Is that 180?
I think it was said high 170s. Yeah, I'm definitely swinging a little bit faster than when I tested the Callaway, so I don't think the smash factor is all that different, but I'm feeling comfortable to swing a little faster with it. Might have to hit a few at silly speed after. So that one's a little knuckly. That is so sick. Yeah, honestly, older Taylormade drivers, I hit that and it carries 100 yards and it's just going into someone's backyard, and that one hang on just fine. Ooh, 178. 12 and a half launch, 1900 spin. That's as good as I can hit anything. Okay, well that was a hell of a set. There were a few that I would just clearly blame on myself, and I'm just going to look at crazy face open angles and distances offline to give me an idea of when I did that. So yeah, I'm not going to blame the club for me leaving the face open and hitting it 50 yards left. That's not the club's fault. Same with that one that I hit way left. Honestly, the rest of them are fine. I mean, obviously those would miss the fairway, but they're good strikes. I'm going to keep 13 out of 15 because I think that's a pretty fair representation of how the thing did. 176 ball speed, 11.7 launch, 2200 spin, and actually in fairly tight ranges in terms of how much they varied. Big carry, big total. Club data, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it being the Callaway Rogue ST Triple Diamond. I know in that video I think I averaged a lower ball speed, but I know I didn't average this much head speed. So I think in terms of efficiency, they're probably quite similar. The smash factor on both of them were probably around 1.43, 1.44. So both really quick drivers. Slowest ball speed I had was 173. That's nuts. I haven't had a session like that, and I don't remember last time I had a session like that. And a lot of these were miss hits low in the club. A couple were low, but there was a bunch of them around here. So I struck it decently, but I certainly tested the forgiveness of the club pretty well, and it did great. So I do want to look at a couple shots that I think were wild. 9 millimeters low, 7 millimeters heel. That's not a good strike. But to get that much ball speed, 12 launch is high launch, and it kept the spin from spiking too high, 2500. To another one that I think was pretty crazy would be this one. That was as close to topping a ball as I've been in a long time. But I kept it in the data because it's a good result. Like 9-degree launch is obviously low, and 2700 spin is a little higher than you'd want it. But if you look at the result, if you hit a ball that carried around 300 yards, depending on the conditions, and rolled out a bit, 175 miles an hour ball speed, and the result in terms of offline was 10 yards left of the center line, you'd be ecstatic with that. Generally when I get toe, and I know this doesn't say high, but it felt higher in the club than most of my shots, obviously. Usually when I get out in this spot with a Taylormade driver, I'm looking at a nightmare result, and this was crazy good. Obviously the spin dropped, but it didn't drop to like 1200 or 1100. This is still safe. It's a knuckly ball, but it's still safe. Sort of gear effect twisted the face a little bit open, offset the start line, so I ended up with a little bit of a straight-ish, maybe a tiny draw, and a really long drive, like a really high launch, long drive with a lot of ball speed. So really impressed with, obviously the good hits on this driver were awesome. That doesn't really surprise me because all these drivers are great when you strike them well, but that's a good strike there, maybe a little toey and great result. But the miss hits as well, I would say, were about as good as I've seen. Okay, silly swings. By popular demand, people asked last time after I did my kind of standard set, assessing how good the driver was, hit a few crazy ones, and that's what I'm going to do. $79. I can't get one with an 8. Try as I might, Al. Just doesn't want to give it to me. 79. How could you treat me this way? No, the ball's fine. I didn't hit it very well. I towed it. All right, come on. 79.5, Al. No, it's fine. I promise you the ball's fine. Okay. Alan's told me I need a fresh ball for a silly swing finale. Okay, fine. I hate when you're right. It's 180. No, 1.8 flat. There you go, 180.4. You were right. A little fresh ball helped. Add the silly swings. Got a little extra juice out of it, so I swung faster, obviously. Actually got better efficiency, that's interesting. Redlined it closer to 180. Spin came down a bit, launch went up a bit because I hit up on it quite a bit more, not surprised. It is capable of some goofy numbers, some really fast, but still balanced and pretty stable balls. I was swinging for the fences, didn't strike all of those perfect. Pretty good strike, but it's not amazing. It's a little toe and a little bit low in the face, but haven't had a 180 in a while without literally making my shoes come off. And perfect launch, perfect spin, tons of carry, very efficient, and nothing negative to say about that. Yeah, I'm overall really impressed with this thing. As I said, it's not Taylormade's fault at all. I've just never really been someone that hits Taylormade drivers well. They are super fast, the adjustability is great, but I tend to be a high toe kind of miss person, and I used to de-loft drivers quite a bit. So now that that's not so much my issue, one that lets me kind of test their drivers in a more fun loft, 9-degree lofted down. And it's coming at a good time because I'm pretty sure, based on what I saw today, that they have definitely stabilized this over, certainly over Sim Generation 1. Sim Generation 2, maybe not a huge amount of difference, but definitely incrementally better. I do feel like a lot of those mishits would have been absolute crap a lot of the time with maybe a prior generation or even some of the other competitors out there. They did really well on mishits. You guys saw some of those that were way low in the face, like I almost topped them basically, and a couple toey ones that ended up being really good and really fast on ball speed. So far the Rogue ST, Triple Diamond, and Cobra's LTDX, LS, I've hit them all really well. I've liked them all. So probably what I'm going to do next is maybe do a video where I hit all three and kind of do a little self-fit for myself or something like that. You guys can let me know what you want to see. It is February here now, and I'm doing a little bit of travel, so I'm starting to want to actually get a driver dialed in to play golf with, not just for testing. So I'm definitely anxious to do that. So if that's the kind of thing you guys want to see, or if there's another driver that you are really anxious for me to try, I can't get access to everything, so I'm being a little pickier this year, but I certainly wouldn't mind testing one or two more if that's something you guys are into. But probably next driver video you'll see from me is including this and a couple others, and try to decide what I want to play for 2022. Thanks for watching. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Let me know if you've tested it and what your results were like. I know a lot of you are going to ask, will I test it right-handed at some point, maybe the non-plus model? Definitely open to doing that. I got to work on the swing a little bit more. I got to be a little more consistent right-handed so I can make decent contact and give you guys some kind of feedback that's useful, but I promise that it is coming at some point in the future. All right, thanks for watching.